Nope, the title is not clickbait, I actually really did it. So, many people have talked about The Last Jedi since it came out. I mean, come on, I'm not that late, it didn't come out that long ago, right? Yeah, okay, I'm a little late. But hey, I wasn't doing the YouTube game back then. I wasn't on YouTube. But the thing is, I wasn't able to give my 2 cents about what I thought of the movie. So here's a quick summary of what I thought of the movie.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
Read into that whatever you want. So, with The Rise of Skywalker coming up soon, I thought I might go back and pose a little challenge to myself. What challenge might it be? Well, when the whole cataclysm broke out, where fans argued amongst each other, is Last Jedi good or not? Well, as we all could agree, Last Jedi was in fact good. No, I'm just kidding. So, basically, the challenge I set for myself is, fans argue, if you can write a better script, do it yourself. So, okay, I did. I wrote a new script for Star Wars The Force Awakens. I wrote a new script for Star Wars The Last Jedi. The challenge was, I'm only allowed to change between 1 and 2 things in the entire script. And then that change has to butterfly effect throughout the rest of the movie and make the movie better. And not only that, the movie has to line up with the new movie that's coming out. Meaning, if you don't like Last Jedi, you can simply pretend that my version of the movie happened and then continue with the new movie. That's how good of a writer I think I am. I'm gonna take the marvelous script prepared by Rian Johnson. I can't even finish this sentence with a straight face. I'm gonna take the script that Rian Johnson adapted from J.J. Abrams' script, and I'm gonna fix it. So, without further ado, welcome to the fixed version of Star Wars The Last Jedi. This song is copyrighted. I'm gonna get striked. Compared to the original, my version still opens with the giant battle over that other planet, which I can't remember which name it is now. I'm too lazy to go look it up. The battle between the rebels and the Empire, wherein the glorious Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, flies in like an absolute badass to save the day. In an epic space battle, which if you saw it the first time, looked like the film actually had promise. How wrong we were. So up until this, I'm keeping everything relatively the same. Space battle pans out as usual. The character of Rose, played by Kelly Murray, the sister or cousin? Too lazy. The related character to the character Rose, one still sacrifices her own life to secure the victory as in the original script. Also, I'm keeping everything the same up until Finn wakes up from his weird... What is that? His weird regeneration tank. You couldn't have put him in a bacta tank. Anyway, afterwards I'm gonna keep everything the same up until then he meets up with Poe again. They have a little cute romantic bromance. We cut back into Daisy Ridley's character, Rey. I'm using the word character loosely here, since to have a character, you have to have a personality. Also, as a quick disclaimer, this video is in no way an attack on any of the actors portraying the characters in Last Jedi. I believe full-heartedly that all the actors chosen for this movie are very good at portraying characters. I just think that Rian Johnson fudged up the script. We keep everything the same up until the point where Rey gives Luke his lightsaber. As in my version, he also tosses it over his shoulder. So after that little interaction, we cut back to Darth Hugh Hefner here, talking to his apprentice Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver, who in my opinion does an extremely good job as a character. We keep in the scene where Snoke talks to Kylo and tells him to blow up his mothership. Good scene, we're keeping it in. Fast forward a little bit, we're now 33 minutes into this movie, and I still like it. The movie is still, in my opinion, really good. Then we finally get the scene where Kylo and his TIE fighters attack the rebels. and we get the scene where Leia gets blown out into space along with the rest of the people on the bridge. Minor change. In my version, we see Admiral Akbar fly out. I'm still sad he died off camera. He should have died on camera. At least show the blaster bolt hitting him like he's the first person on impact. Damn you, Rian Johnson! And to my own dismay, I'm also keeping in Space Leia. Space Leia is still in. Unfortunately, I'm keeping her in. It wasn't that bad of a scene, contrary to what people might think. I do not hate that scene. I think it was a beautifully shot scene. Would it be better if she actually died? Potentially would have been better, but I can see why you would need her. I'm keeping her in the script. Rian Johnson, you didn't fudge that up. Kinda did, but still. You could have just had her not use the Force. I'm not being sexist and saying she can't use the Force. Obviously she's Force sensitive. That's the original trilogy proved that. But oof, you could have done that scene better, but I'm keeping it in. Then, finally, here is the part where I'm making the change. I'm making the change to the one character that, in my opinion, sorry for the actor played by Laura Dern. Terribly sorry for the actress Laura Dern. But oh my gosh, this might be the worst written character I've ever seen in the history of ever. So, this is where my change has come in. I am rewriting the character of Admiral Holdo. Holdo was her name. She was that unimportant to me and I hated her that much I couldn't even remember her name. Here comes my version. In the original version, she was a stern person for absolutely no real reason, and her entire character was completely useless, kind of. In fact, half the movie was, which is why I'm fixing it. My version of the movie now kicks in, the first change, which will then butterfly effect the entire rest of the movie. Admiral Holdo, in my version, her first act, she sees the entire group standing around, the entire remaining crew of the ship that they're currently on, and obviously there's 3 smaller ships following them. She walks up, and her first order of business is to look at everyone, bring order, and say, okay, guys, listen to me. We're in a little bit of a pickle here. We're being tracked by the Empire. They have new technology that can track us through hyperspace. That's why we're not going into hyperspeed. We have little fuel. We can't risk this. But don't worry, everyone. We have a plan. As they keep firing on us, we are going to transport the crew from the previous ships behind us onto this one. And afterwards, we're going to navigate to our nearby hidden rebel base, and we're going to jettison everyone in the escape pods down to the surface at a certain angle so that the Empire cannot detect us. And also, I will be staying on this ship to sacrifice myself to keep steering it, and I will give my own life for you, as I am old and the new generation will be the ones to carry on. It's what General Leia would have done. Boom! Fixed. This decision has fixed the entire movie. And here is why. They walk up. This action causes Poe Dameron to go, oh my gosh, we have a plan. Which causes him to not want to commit mutiny. And the rest of this act consequences will carry in a little bit. Next scene, we get Finn trying to leave the ship to go after Rey, where he interacts with Kelly Marie Tran as Rose. And I'm going to keep this scene the same in the original, because I actually liked the scene in the original. At the start of the movie, I did like Rose as a character. By the end, I did not. So that scene stays exactly the same, where she zaps Finn, and that's basically it. Cut back to Rey and Luke, where they're having their normal bout. Luke's on his island, very pensive, not wanting to really teach her, and then slowly warms up to her. Only, in my version, I'm gonna have Luke be a little more hopeful, and not as grumpy, grouchy old man. I'm still gonna have Luke be somewhat scared of teaching Rey, as his previous failure in Ben would haunt him, but I would have him be hopeful, because that's the entire purpose of Luke Skywalker's character, Ryan! You frickin' idiot! What kind of fanfic have you written? Moron! And I'm coming off a little bit harsh on Rian Johnson, but I don't care. Also, now you'll notice where the differences start to come in. Firstly, the quest to find the codebreaker. This whole side plot of the movie has now been erased from existence like a snap from Thanos. Because they have no need to go get a codebreaker. The reason they got a codebreaker in the original is because it was a mutiny against Admiral Holder. I can't pronounce her name. Basically, it was a mutiny against her. They went, she doesn't have a plan, it's going to get us killed. So what do? They go off to find the codebreaker. They get trapped on the planet. Eventually, they find this one guy, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Him, and I'm sorry, Joseph. I'm sorry, but I'm writing you out of the movie. I'm terribly sorry. I know you probably got paid a good heft for this, but you're gonna have to find another movie, mate. I'm terribly sorry. Your character was not a bad character. It's just for the purpose of making the movie good, you have to leave him. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So the whole codebreaker scene doesn't happen, meaning they stay on the ship. Also, in the future, you'll realize that since they didn't get this codebreaker, means he never betrayed them, meaning when they now jettison their escape pods later in the movie, the Empire won't notice, because the Empire didn't notice in the beginning until he told them. So, yeah, I just saved a couple hundred rebels' lives. I'm a good... Yay! So, to replace the B-plot, I'm gonna shrink down the B-plot first. I'm replacing the entire plot with a slightly smaller one. My version of the movie, instead of Rose and Finn going to this planet to find the codebreaker, Rose and Finn stay on the ship, and they're responsible for helping to transport the crew of the other ships drifting behind the main one to the main one. I said that twice. I said I'm a script writer, not a screenplay writer. Basically, we can have their quote-unquote romance bloom in a cute way there, where the biggest, how do I put this, the biggest tension would be maybe some of the previous ships ran out of fuel sooner than they thought. Some people might have got stuck during transport. One of the Empire's blasters might have hit one of the transport pods they used to transport the crew. Something where they had to be together there. Do you understand what I mean? Basically just have some danger between transporting the crew from the ship to ship. Easy. That's the subplot. Very small subplot. Meaning we can put much more screen time into the training montages between Luke and Rey and actually give the fans what they want. Compelling story with the hero you grew up with. So no heavy-handed PETA animal saving symbolism. More cool Jedi training stuff. Luke retells the story of how Ben betrayed him. We still have the exact same dynamic there. We just have a little more time for lessons and better choreographed, and we have more character development there. We skip the whole planet with the codebreaker. As I said, we're just going to have scenes of them on the ship and scenes of Finn and Rose transporting rebels from ship to ship. Meanwhile, cut back to Luke. Luke is just there standing with Daisy. I keep calling her a real name now because the real life person is much more compelling than the character she plays. We have Rey basically confronting Luke about, hey, did you attack Kylo Ren? And we have the whole scene of her kind of turning, not dark side, but being like, there's still good in him. We have to join forces with Kylo. We can turn him to the light side. We'll keep this whole thing in, and this time we'll have Luke kind of support her. Why? Because Luke is a hopeful person. He was face to face with his dad, and he said, there's still hope, there's still good in you, I sense it. The Emperor hasn't snuffed it all out of you, because he's a hopeful person. His entire character. We're still gonna have the scenes where Kylo and Rey have these mental connections that Snoke does on them, because those scenes are actually extremely well filmed and I really like them. Also the scene of Leia in the Dark Force Hall. I'm a child. Her down there where she sees herself like in like the lag mirror. I don't know what to call it. That's a beautiful scene. and I'm keeping it in my version. We still get topless Kylo. No real reason. I just think it was. He looks good without his shirt. Come on. We're still gonna get Master Yoda showing up and Force lightning the tree to death. The tree that contains domes. Just because Yoda cameo. Yay. Then obviously, once again, my version, no mutiny. Because there's no point. Admiral Holdo and Poe get along quite well. And in fact, even Admiral Holdo is like, Poe, you're a little bit of a hotshot. And she talks to him in a sign of respect, but to still tell him to control his hotshottiness. Because we still need the scene with the female characters assert dominance because politics in Star Wars, they mix so well. As I'm saying, we don't have the scene where the Codebreaker and Finn and Rose sneak onto the ship. We can have them sneak onto the other rebel ships and take over passengers. And we can have a nice little love story bloom there. And now we can actually put time into like a little love story blooming, other than the couple lines of dialogue, if you would call it that, from the actual movie. We have Rey being captured. We have the same scene with him and Snoke and Rey in the throne room. Oh gosh. In my version, I'm gonna stick to having them kill Snoke. It pains me because I'm literally crying for the wasted potential there, but oh, Rian Johnson, what have you done? You wasted so many plot points. What have you done? Anyway, we're gonna keep this, but in my version, since we didn't have to pay that much for special effects, because on the planet we had to pay for the special effects of all those things on the planet and the whole like party with the Codebreaker and stuff, we have to pay for that much special effects, so we can actually spend the budget in reshooting the throne room scene, where we won't have mistakes like this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at him, he's going in for the swing, does a stupid spin, he's going in for the swing, and, he swings over her head, despite the fact that there was no reason he would have done this. Why? Because, sorry Daisy Ridley, you missed your mark there in the stunt coordination, and the guy knew if he didn't overswing, he would have killed Rey, right there the movie would have ended. So, yeah, I would have fixed that, and also, this guy right here, you see how he has his two little dagger things, and right here where he locks in with her, look at the dagger, look at it go behind her back, and it's gone. And if you look at his hand, he's still holding the same exact hand motion, meaning the stuntman in the suit was still holding the knifey thingy, and they had to CGI it out because people would have noticed that he could have just stabbed her in the back right here and she would have died again. That's just some of the terrible choreography for lightsaber fights that the new trilogy has. I miss the prequel fights. Also, in this movie, Captain Phasma and Finn never fight again, meaning we can save Captain Phasma for the third movie if we have to. Actually, wait, that wouldn't work, because in the beginning of the video I said that it would fit in with the next movie. Okay. Let's not bring Captain Phasma back. She found a trash compactor in the previous movie and she died. Because, let's be honest, what was the point of bringing her back in this movie? She was brought back literally for like a couple scenes just to die again. And it wasn't even that badass. So I'm just gonna leave her dead, because there was no point in bringing her back. Yeah, so the whole fight scene happens. Kylo's like, oh, join me. And then we have the exact same scene where Daisy and Kylo grab the lightsaber and it shatters in two pieces. And basically, only difference is it shatters, flash of light. Kylo gets knocked on the floor a little bit more than Daisy. I'm just gonna keep calling her Daisy from now on, because Rey. Daisy leaves. Kylo was knocked out a little bit longer than her. When he comes to, she's gone like in the original. Meanwhile, the giant dreadnought is still bearing down on the rebel ship, who's about to run out of fuel. And then it noticed the rebel ship is jettisoning escape pods to the planet below because the codebreaker never told them that they were doing this. Meanwhile, Admiral Holdo, my version, stays on the ship. As the ship gets blown up, she goes down with the ship like a hero. Also, we still have the touching scene with Leia and her talking, except my version would come off much more touching because Holdo deserves it, because she's sacrificing herself like a hero. And also, once again, different from my scene in the original scene, in my scene, we don't get the hyperspace dreadnought thing. Which, I will admit, it looked very beautiful. It looked beautiful, it looked like a gorgeous shot, but I'm cutting it for a reason that there's no real point, because the only reason Holda did that is because the rebels who were being jettisoned were being shot at. So there's no real reason to do that. Also, if this is cut from the movie, it's now non-canon, meaning all the people going, why don't they just build automatic ships to fly into the enemies at light speed? That argument can finally go away, because now the plot hole has been fixed. You're welcome. So, the rebels land on the planet. The Empire doesn't bear down on them. Rey escapes to the planet's surface at the rebel base. In fact, she lands in front of it. She doesn't even have to land behind it and float the rocks like she does in the actual movie. She just lands in front of them because the Empire's not attacking. The Empire's kind of a little bit of an infighting because Snoke's dead. So what happens? They all get in the Millennium Falcon. They fly around the back of the planet, like you'll have the Empire in space. Then you have the Empire's looking at the planet. Opposite side, that's where Rey and them are. And the end, Rey and them, they hyperspace away, and the Empire doesn't detect. They're gone. Yay, we lost almost no one. Because, unlike a stupid general, we had a good general who actually was able to lead her army in a logical way. And if you really wanted to tie in that much, you really want Luke to die, we can have Luke appear as Rey is landing on the planet and meeting up with the rebels. We can have Luke just appear in front of Kylo in his throne room. And Kylo thinks Luke boarded because he's just that cool. And we can have Luke and Kylo face off because Luke took the words of Rey to heart. There must be still good in him. Luke faces Kylo. Once again, Luke dodges everything like in the original. Kylo slashes him, figures out he is a projection. Luke vanishes dead like in the original. This scene can be cut if you want it to be cut. I'm just keeping this in so it fits in with the other story. The movie ends with Rey giving her love speech, except this time it makes sense because no one died. See, fighting won't win this war, love will. And this can be a reference to the badass Admiral Holda in my version who gave her life to save everyone. See, now it makes sense, I fixed the line. And everyone flies off, the end. Da 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 da, copyright strike. End. That's the end of the movie. I did it, I fixed it. How long have I been recording? A little long. I've been recording a while. But, I did it. I fixed the whole movie. That's the end. I don't know what else to say. I did it. I barely changed anything. I removed the stupid B plot. I fixed Admiral Holda. I extended the Luke Skywalker Rey training stuff. I was logical. I had no one, almost no one die, except maybe we can have a sad scene where as Rey and Finn are transporting people, some of them get left behind in one of the other ships to blow up. That can be the sad scene. To replace the stupid animal one. And that's it. I fixed it. Yeah. So, tell me, whose is better? Is my version better or is the original better? I'm dying to know. If this movie seems a little sporadic and very informal, it's because I was going to write down an entire script, and then I went, Well, Ryan Johnson wasn't bothered to write down a script, so why should I? So this whole thing has been ad-libbed. Yes, I've been ad-libbing this entire video, unprepared, unscripted, I don't care what you want to call it. So, if you guys like the video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, select that subscribe button to keep up to date with the channel and all the future stuff that I'm gonna do. And please tell me if my version's better. Just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. And may the force be with, and that outro is too cheesy. I'm above that. Bye, guys.